Melissa?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you for
Good.
having me on your show.
My God, I love your sense of fashion. What's that right there? Veronica Beard.
It is Veronica Beard. You're good.
You know what? You got to know the good thing to treat a woman well. I've been shopping I'm 44 years old, 43, and I've been shopping all my life.
Oh my gosh, you don't look 43. Let me tell you what, I'm having such an existential crisis today after all this press has come out because all these people are saying that I look like I'm 60, which...
You know what? Don't believe them. Fuck cancel culture and fuck all these people. Let me tell you something.
Oh yeah.
Americream, Darfan, Fresh, a little bit of Aesop, you're all good.
Exactly. Yeah, no, trust me, I know I'm fucking fabulous.
You know what? I just sent my girl to get her fillers.
You have to.
You have to. You know what it is? It's all about it's all about just making yourself look good. Because you look good, you're gonna feel good.
Listen, I'm in the image business, and looking good is a big part of what I do, and helping other people look good.
Oh my God, I love your CDC. I just bought one of those for her in red. Not that, but the ceramic one. They just came out the porcelain collection. Is yellow, blue, red, and black.
Oh my God, can I be your girlfriend?
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Let me tell you something. I haven't dated an Asian woman in 17 years. The only women I date are blonde, and they got to be taller than me. If Tom Cruise can date a taller woman, why can't I? We have the same initials.
You're a very interesting guy. My brother is actually married.
And I'll tell you one more thing. There's nothing wrong with a Chinaman. Every white woman should own one.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. My brother's married to a Chinese woman from Beijing, and she has totally given him a makeover. I mean, this kid comes to my house and he's got like Gucci sneakers on. Before he and I used to dress in like these, we're 5 years apart, but we look identical, believe it or not. And we would wear these like matching sweatsuits from Kmart, and like that was our life. So.
You know what? Hey, you know what? I grew up wearing Payless shoes, and I started, switching up the style. They weren't really Payless. They're like really cheap shoes, right? But now I'm all about my golden gooses, my common projects. It's raining today, so I have these on. I don't know if you like them. I don't know if you can see them. I can't see them. Here.
Oh, those are cool. They look comfortable. Oh, Montclair. Yeah.
I know in San Francisco it's raining and everything, so and my big thing is, hey, fashion's everything. I see a lot of people, online just trashing you on Twitter. I'm like, I'm going to defend you. After this, I'm the Twitter king. I'm going to have to defend you. You know what they're saying? Like, oh my God, she's buying Goya beads. Look, I'm like, sweetheart, she shops at Whole Foods. They don't sell fucking Goya at Whole Foods. So whatever village these people are coming from, they can go back.
You know what's funny though? They sell Goya at like the local supermarket, and I do go out of my way to buy it because they make the best beans. I just made enchiladas for my husband the other night. They make the best black beans and pinto beans.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? I don't know. I only started cooking during the pandemic. I've been eating out for 25 years, 20-something years. Yeah. I mean, what's your favorite restaurant? I saw some on your Instagram, and I just started Instagram like this year because I got so bored. Yeah. And I saw your picture of Nobu, and my first time being at Nobu was in New York, 2001, 2 nights before 9/11. 57? Nobu 57? No, the 57 wasn't open yet back then.
Oh my gosh. So this is like the old days. Wow.
That's the one on Hudson.
Before 9/11. Oh my God.
No, right on the night before 9/11, I was at Danielle's. Oh and you know what? Danielle Balloon overcooked my foie gras. I still remember that shit. Oh. Overcooked my foie.
That is a big no-no. I would be pissed myself.
Now Nobu and like Danielle, they're all like just big names now. I like, now 11 Madison's hot. I mean, in the city, we have do you come to San Francisco a lot?
San Francisco used to be my absolute favorite city, and then it's
all for homeless people.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I love San Francisco. The weather and the Bay is beautiful. I got married in Napa Valley, so we spent a ton of time in San Francisco.
Oh yeah, so I was at French Laundry's 25th anniversary dinner.
Were you really?
2019.
I actually know Thomas Keller really well.
Awesome.
I got the opportunity to do an interview of him for a magazine here in Phoenix, a food magazine years ago. And it was like one of the best stories that I have about him is that he and the only way I could interview him, because he had done so much press that day, and everybody, and I was handling the publicity for his cookbook tour that came here. And the only way that I could do the interview that I needed was if I gave him the interview as he was driving in the limo to the airport. And it was like the funnest limo ride ever because he had done like 8 hours of press that day. And he was like, you know what? Let's just drink. And I was like, perfect. So I'm like drinking champagne in the back of the limo with Thomas Keller interviewing him. And it was like the best, funniest story ever.
Yeah. So, I mean, Thomas Keller's great. I mean, I love his food. And so I go to one of his protege's restaurant, which is here in San Francisco that used to work for him, Benu. Amazing restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, Benu, amazing.
I think I've heard of it. It's been ages since I've been to San Francisco. You know, the one that I really used to like, the slanted door. Is that still
they're
hot?
Closed.
Or is that over? Oh, they're closed. Oh,
because of the pandemic, and he's not. And I don't think he's gonna renew his lease because it's so expensive. So I used to have a bakery.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I used to have a bakery, and I used to sell bread to a lot of chefs.
Did you really?
Yeah, I used to do all the hamburger buns for Hubert Keller at the Burger Bar, on top of Macy's. Yeah, and I used to do. Yeah.
You know what's funny about that, and Americans don't know this, but the best bread in the world comes from Asia. So when I need bakery bread, I'll go to the Korean grocery store because they have a tous les jours, or however you say it, inside of the Korean grocery store here. Oh my God, yeah.
Well, I mean, the Chinese and the Asians were smart. Look, I mean, we kind of fucked up. We created COVID, which came from China, but we just kind of screwed up there. But we're smart enough to create that. We create everything else. I mean, we're good at bread. We're good at noodles. We're good at everything. We're at least trying to.
See, that's why I envy my brother so much because
Except the Asian woman, they know how to take a man to the cleaners, though.
Right, indeed.
You know, they know how to take a man to the cleaners. That's why I don't. Yeah.
They can shop like you would not believe. And my sister-in-law has the best sense of style. She has way cuter clothes than I do, which is hard to believe, but it's true.
Yeah, and all I do, my big thing is when I was in 2003, I bought the first Balenciaga motorcycle bag for somebody. It was $700, right? And that's so cheap back then. I could buy containers of that stuff.
Right.
And I realized something. Now, every time, and I don't do online dating. I meet them at Whole Foods, Neiman's, Saks Fifth Avenue. And when you meet them, you know what they're wearing already. But when I was younger, I was meeting women, and some of them are kind of ratchet. They'll wear anything. And now I can't even date a woman that wears Nine West. And my big thing is this: the very first time I knew that somebody with bad shoes turned me off is I was having an intimate moment, and I saw this woman in her closet got Skechers, and I had to leave, and I never went out on a date again.
Were they those weird fit Skechers? Because
this was like 7 years ago. And they were like just Skechers, and I'm like, my God, I'm like, you got Skechers, I can't even date you. I
don't believe you. I don't believe anybody.
Yeah, and I was at the moment, and then you know what? After I couldn't, you know, it just killed the intimacy.
Yeah, I would think that would be a huge turnoff. Shoes are really a serious.
Shoes are a thing, right?
So, but did she have good shoes when you first met her?
When I first picked up on her on Fillmore Street, she was wearing, I guess, Jimmy Choo heels, so she told me, and I found out they weren't. And then that's when I got really turned off.
Oh, I can tell. Yeah,
I can tell. Right, and you can tell by the heel. Just like the Manolo has a different angle on the heel.
Totally, the pitch is always different.
Like, yeah, just like John Vito Rossi's. Like their heels are different. Those are
my favorite. Those
are your favorite.
You should see my closet. I have probably 50 pairs of Louboutins, and I used to, be the queen of Louboutins.
So Kate's are the best ones. The best bedroom shoes are So Kate. They go in every La Perla, right? Everything. So Kate's are the hottest shoes. Yeah.
Totally. But I was the queen of Louboutin forever, and like now I kind of feel like they're a little bit ratchet. So
they are ratchet because everybody, yeah.
I kind of want to get rid of them, and I love G and Vito.
It's hard to get rid of clothes. Like I have like 12 shearling coats. I have the original Marlboro manual of John Barbados. The Marlboro man, like I got that, but everything was so big back then. I gotta, get it alternate and everything. But I got one of and I got a Tom Ford, his last year with Gucci, a shearling coat that it was his last year with Gucci he designed. Yeah.
See, you're like me. That is the reason I will not
can't throw shit away. That's the problem.
Because it's like an archive. Your fashion, your closet is like an archive.
It is like an archive, yeah.
I am such a hoarder. I know. My husband is constantly trying to tell me to sell it, do the real. I'm like, no.
Forget the real. Why do you want to sell anything for it? I still have remember Big Star jeans? That was maybe before your time.
I do remember Big Star.
I still have them.
Do you have Jankos?
Do you have Jankos?
Jankos.
No, I have replays.
Those, okay, replay is huge in Europe still though. Like I see it.
Replay is, and I have the original diesels, like
wow.
the original with the original logo. Yeah, I mean
wow.
it's crazy. I mean but fashion's great. I love fashion, and I had you on to. I was very impressed with your amazing comeback.
Oh, thank you.
And you know what, everybody, and I say to people, why shouldn't this woman get a second chance? You let people out of jail, and they get a second chance, right? Everybody has reform. But why can't, and I don't get that.
It seems really silly. I mean, like how it's just amazing, just like how angry people are at me or were at me.
Well, they're just jealous.
I trashed a mask display. I didn't hurt somebody. I didn't kill somebody.
You know what? That created jobs because now someone can make it extra overtime and feed their kids hamburger helper.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And I did feel really bad about messing it up, and I sent an apology letter to Target, and I really sincerely meant it. I didn't, I mostly felt bad for getting those people on camera, and now they're all in the middle of this whole thing.
And I'll tell you something about jealousy, and I'll tell you something about envy. People that are envious and people that are jealous. It's kind of like, people are jealous because first, you're gorgeous, great designer clothes, right? Great sense of fashion, and you're getting an amazing ton of press. Right? And people are jealous, just like how, with COVID, with what's going on in COVID. And I think that like a lot of, there's a lot of racism going on, and people are always saying, they're making fun of like Asian people because they can't tell the difference. Well, I'm Chinese. We're the hierarchy of all the Asians, right? But, but a lot of people I think are like being racist against the Asians, especially the Hispanics and the Blacks. But I think they're more racist against the Asians for COVID is because they've always been jealous of us. And this gives them an excuse because we've been here a lot shorter time than the Hispanics and the African Americans, but we're a lot further in wealth and education. So this just gives them an excuse to say, hey, let's just trash these Asian people. Of course, yeah.
Well, that's amazing because I love all people and I absolutely love Asian people, but I think the difference between you and all these people who are angry is that you have a great sense of humor and they don't have a good sense of humor. And I think
a lot of people doesn't.
If you have that type of perspective in life where you're always laughing, you're always having fun, you're good energy, you're fun to be around, then life is going to go well for you. I think that's really just honestly.
Yeah, call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
But I think that we've gotten so down this rabbit hole of PC that
you know what? Fuck PC. Okay, I don't believe in any. And that's the thing. People are so sensitive these days. Cancel culture.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Why? I mean, why cancel? Who cares? Everybody deserves a second chance or third or fourth chance. I mean, like I said, you're letting all these people do reform. Like, look at Trump. He's doing reform for all these people that he's letting out of jail, right? So they're all getting a second chance. Why can't you and I get a second chance?
I think if people, practice what they preach and, they believe in God and they're faithful, and I know some people don't, but forgiveness is the message. And I think it's so hard to forgive yourself. I mean, I was horribly ashamed of what I did, but I finally, came to peace.
Don't ever be ashamed. You know what? Whatever you do, embrace that shit.
Well,
embrace it.
As you can see.
Embrace it. You didn't hurt anybody, right? But, when I saw you on TV, the only thing I got to criticize, you're wearing Nikes. Where's the golden goose of that?
You know what?
Okay.
I had just come from working out at the hotel, and this, you'll be able to appreciate this because during this whole COVID thing, they took away all the mini bars from the hotel rooms, which that is my favorite thing about staying in a fabulous hotel is the fucking great stuff that they have in the mini bar. So here I am in this like gorgeous hotel suite, and there isn't any water. I'd already drank all the water, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to take myself to Target and go get the big bottles of Fiji for the room because I didn't know how long I was going to be there. My husband wouldn't let me come home. So yeah, it's.
Yeah. And the thing is, like for me, it's like, you did what you did. Who gives a shit, right? I do a lot of fucked up shit. First off, they can't cancel me. I'm China. You can't cancel a POC anyways, right?
Yeah.
But and I don't believe white people, Caucasian people should be canceled. Instead, it's like reform. Hey, you apologize and it's all good. It's not like you went and, shot up a bunch of people. You know what I mean? You didn't hurt anybody.
I agree. I absolutely think that there are things that are completely unforgivable. Obviously, rape, molestation, pedophilia, killing somebody, hurting somebody, you know, all of those things, absolutely unforgivable. But throwing masks on the floor in Target, I don't think that ranks high
and a lot of people say
evil monster list.
No, it's not. It's just like you call someone, every once in a while, people have a brown face, people have a yellow face. Who cares? You know, and that's the people that have the people that are mad at people with the brown face. You should like that people are actually trying to be like you, because why would you want people to not be like you? You know what I mean?
You know, my philosophy on it is that, you know, I'm the type of person that I have worked tirelessly in my career to help people from all backgrounds, and I really believe in my heart of hearts, I'm the type of person that judges a person based on the content of their character and not on the color of their skin. And you know, racism is such a sensitive issue, and I certainly understand, you know, people, you know, their experience is better now that I've learned from people and how, you know, this year has affected them, and even things that I've said and done have affected people. But I really think that there's this personal responsibility that every human being has to better themselves and better their life and better their future. And that has everything to do with what's in your heart and what you're made of, and has nothing to do with the color of your skin. And to say that you can't be successful in life because everybody's doing something to you, you know, like people were canceling me, then that's just a cop out. You know, you got to work harder and you got to get back out there and be strong and make something of your life.
And you're right about that. And I think that everybody right now is saying, oh, you know, everybody, there's racism. And I grew up in Chinatown, which is not a great rich area, but racism only happens in the more low-income areas. It doesn't really happen in the better, wealthier, or upper middle class areas, because the lower income, they're more uncultured. So, and everybody's fighting for that last dollar, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I have a African-American friend, good friend of mine. He lives like around like, you know, in the South Bay, and really well-to-do neighborhood. He doesn't have a problem with, you know, racism. They may say, oh, that guy just moved there. Oh, but in the well-to-do area, people always say, I wonder what can that guy offer me, or what board did that guy sit on? So I think exactly. It's more like the classism, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that is truly what it is, because, you know, I have a ton of Black friends and a ton of multi-racial, you know, racist friends, because I travel internationally constantly. So I have friends from all over the world. I have friends who live in Kenya. I mean, like, and that's exactly the same scenario. And they work hard, and they, you know, you connect with people in cool places and cool restaurants and clubs and wherever, golf course, wherever. And it has everything to do with how hard they work to get there. And you want to know more about them because you're like, wow, you know? So
and I think the classism thing that's what it is. But again, it's how you educate your children, right? It's about how you teach your children, how you educate them. It's just like you go to like a lot of areas, like the low income areas, they get stuck there and they can't get out. But again, it's like, I don't want a socialist country, but if you can't have a socialist country in America, because they don't respect socialism like they do in Canada or France, where, oh, the government's paying for our healthcare, we're only gonna have one child because that's all we can afford, right? But in America, it's like everybody's having a ton of kids because they think the government's paying for it. And the more kids they have, they can't get out of that slump because they gotta feed their kids and they have no money, and, you know, they can't find their way out.
Well, that's the same. It's the same argument that, you know, I believe, you know, when it comes to healthcare, because I work very hard to take care of myself and, you know, eat well and exercise. And America is still the fattest country in the world.
Obesity is a big problem, like in Middle America.
And if people aren't going to take personal responsibility for their health, I don't want to foot the bill when they get sick. And even with COVID, obesity is one of the main
underlying health conditions.
Exactly, to why people got so sick.
And that's the thing, what taxpayers foot in the bill. Just like people say, oh, if you're like anti-abortion, if if these low-income communities keep having children, they don't go to Planned Parenthood, who's paying for all these children? I mean, I sure as hell don't want to pay for their kids. It's not my problem, right? So, right. And I think that's the problem with, and I always say this to people and I laugh it off. I say, hey, maybe they should have one-child policy. And people say, oh my God, but they should, because if they keep having kids and the kids don't, and I don't want to say this in a really bad way, if they don't amount to anything or they don't take education seriously, then they're going to be stuck there like their parents. And who's going to feed them? Like I said, if you can't afford to feed them, you shouldn't breed them.
Right, exactly. Well, and I think that has everything to do with, that's why it's so frustrating when you see the focus coming away from faith and family, because that is really where it begins and ends. Like, I'm Jewish and I've experienced a fair share of discrimination and racism in my life. And people think that I haven't because what I look like, and that's not true. I mean,
but it's not true, because people like I don't want to say this, but people always say the Jewish are cheap, but I say it takes 10 Jews to push a Chinaman because we're a lot cheaper. Okay, but
you know what that really comes down to, though. I mean, Jewish people and Chinese people are very, very similar
and that's why you guys like to eat Chinese food during Christmas.
Well, that's why my brother married a Chinese woman. Hello. Yeah. But the pressure that our families put on us to excel in school and be smart and be good with money and learn, a business or a skill. I mean, it's very similar with Chinese people and Jewish people.
Yeah, and then we take care of our grandparents and our grandparents in order to take care of our grandkids. I mean, I don't have any children. I think children is bad ROI, but I'm generalizing for a lot of Asian people, and they take care of their elders. So the elders in turn take care of their kids or their grandkids or whatever.
Right.
But in a lot of cultures, that's not what happens.
Well, and honestly, I mean, people always ask me why I didn't have kids. And, a big part of the reason why my husband and I decided not to have kids, first of all, we've got little dogs that are like the light of our lives, and we travel a lot and we're busy. But, it's a conscious decision, with overpopulation that, do we really need to add people to this world?
That's just more shit you can't recycle. When you give them Gerber food in a glass bottle, take about 10 years to get that bottle recycled. So yeah, why have children? You could, and I'm too selfish to have kids. I always make sure that I date women that are at least 38 to 50 something years old, so they can't have kids.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, like I said, this world is changing so fast. There's cancel culture, which I fucking hate. I don't think anybody should be canceled.
It is absolutely the worst thing, and it's a terrible trend that's absolutely toxic. And, I just, having been in that position now, I will tell you what it feels like to be canceled. I mean, I did not want to live. I did not want to exist. I thought my life was over, and I, really considered ending it. I did. And my mom died when I was 14.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. My mom passed away in 2017. Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. But so I know what it's like when somebody chooses to cancel their own life. And, through all of this, I just looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, that is not going to be you. That's not going to be you.
No, you got to make a comeback. I say what I want to say. If they want to cancel me, if you don't want to cancel me, just don't listen. There's a lot of people that want to listen. You know what I mean?
That is exactly how you should cancel somebody. You have the power to choose what you give your energy to. And if you don't like somebody, or you don't like what they're about, or what they're saying, whatever, change the channel and go pursue something that you do like, because I can tell you that there are plenty of people who like me. They love my energy. It's sad. All these people who judge me, they don't get to know me.
The people that are judging you, I've noticed, I saw on Twitter when you took a snapshot of that picture of the woman, and I looked through Twitter and I'm like, all these people that are saying all this, they hate their own lives actually. And that's why they're so negative.
Right.
And I mean, what does she know about anything? Just talk about designer clothes. They don't see with their eyes. They probably never even been inside an Neiman Marcus. They probably shop at the Limited or something.
Well, and what cracks me up is that dress that I was wearing in the Washington Post photo shoot was a dress from Zara from a million years ago. So.
Oh, you know what? I love Zara jeans. Those are my favorite, for men at least.
You and me might be the same person. I think Zara makes great jeans.
Yeah, it is cheap. It is fucking cheap.
I will say the problem with Zara jeans though is after you wash them a couple times, like they're kind of disposable.
Yeah, but you know what? You could buy 30 pairs. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
It's cheap and they fit really well. You know, like the skinny crop. That's what I wear. Yeah. And I was wearing J. Crew denim for a while, and I was trying on all the designer jeans that I was trying on before, like J brand and all that. It just didn't fit me well. Denim has to fit you well. It doesn't matter what brand it is.
I'm so, when the whole designer jeans boom started, I bought every single pair with the
7 and all that. Yeah.
That's something that's a relic that's in my closet. All those true.
Oh, Rockin' Republics. I have those.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
They started selling that shit at Kohl's, and I couldn't wear them anymore.
Do they really sell them at Kohl's?
They sell them at Kohl's. Yeah.
I haven't been. People are gonna hate me.
Shopping's so different now. Everybody's doing it online. I love going shopping, and that's where I meet a lot of people also, right?
Yeah.
But,
some of the coolest people that I've ever met have been like literally sitting in the shoe section in Neiman's.
That's what I mean. I met a lot of women at Whole Foods, like I said, in Neiman's, and my first date gift is always a diptyque candle, the Bay scent.
Okay.
That's my first date gift.
Okay, we are the same person because that is actually what I do now, and well, you can steal this, but this is my signature move. I used to give the base candle. Then we got a Le Labo in Scottsdale, and so I'll get a Le Labo candle and have it labeled for them, like with their name on it, as like a thank you, and that's like my go-to signature gift. Goes over.
That's it. Okay.
So good every time.
The Le Labo is nice, and I do the signature, like the first date gift, the Bay candle, and I'll put also the scented oval in there too.
I have one of those.
And that's my first, and it always got to come with a greeting card, a handwritten greeting card. Can't be from Papyrus or Hallmark or whatever. It's got to be like from some bougie store.
Pure class, absolutely.
And how I ask a woman out is like, I get their business card and I'll send them like peony, this is the right season, and have a card, and I'll ask them out like that.
That's so thoughtful. I'm sure they appreciate that so much.
They do. It's to me, I just keep doing the same thing. If it ain't broken, why fix it? I have like 50 of those cards that I write out. It's got a Chinese takeout box on it from Snow and Graham. You know Snow and Graham?
No, I don't think so.
Snow and Graham is like a greeting card company, and I buy this card, and it's letterpress. It has to be letterpress when I buy the first card.
Of course,
and it has a takeout box on it. It says, "I want to take you out," and that's what I write.
Stop! Oh my God, that is so cute. Okay,
and it's a Chinese takeout box, right? What can be better than that?
100% bad.
But the problem is this. Now, when you compliment, and this is on my statistics, and I'm generalizing, but I only work on my own statistics, right? Because you can't work on anybody else's, right? So if you tell a woman, like, especially a white woman, and you say, "Oh my God, I love your shoes. Are they Jimmy Choo's or Manolos, or I love your bag, they're the Chanel or Evelyn from Hermes or whatever." They're so happy to talk to you. But when you talk to an Asian woman like that, and I don't date like Asians from like Asia, like Asian Americans.
Yeah.
When you compliment them on what they have, they hold their bags tighter like you're gonna rob them. I swear to God, they don't like being either talked to or picked up on or however you want to say it. But it's really weird.
That is weird.
So I haven't dated an Asian woman like I said, 17 years or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And they're the ones that take me to the cleaners the most. I mean, they're not even really.
Your wallet couldn't afford another Asian woman, huh?
Exactly. I said, forget it, right? I said, white is right after that, right?
Too expensive.
Exactly. And the thing is but the thing is, when you compliment them on their fashion, they get really skeptical. Like you're trying to take something from them or something.
Oh, that's weird.
It's weird for me, yeah. So
I will talk to I will talk to anybody.
Yeah.
People will stop me on the street, and smell my perfume and be like, "What is that?" And then it's like we're exchanging numbers. But I'm just
the first thing, and I don't text to ask them out on the first date. I call because technology kills chivalry.
Absolutely, that's 100% certain.
And I think that on a first date, I always take them to like a good restaurant. A lot of guys want to take them to a shitty restaurant. I'm like, if you're feeding them shit food, you're feeding yourself shit food. Why would you want to eat crappy food?
I haven't been on a date in 16 years.
Well, you're married, right?
Yeah, but
if there's a goalie, that doesn't mean I can't score.
Right. But I listen. Yeah, I judge on restaurants. I mean, anytime that I am dining with a client, like I will always pick the restaurant because I am not getting stuck, eating at some place with a.
If they're wearing black, always ask for a black napkin, right?
Always.
Yeah. Always ask for a black napkin. That's
Yeah.
That's what, and you got to do. But you know what? The gentlemanly thing is dying because I think no one does it anymore. It's crazy.
Oh, a lot of my girlfriends are still single or some are divorced, and they're getting back into the dating world with this Tinder and stuff, which.
Oh, forget that. I still haven't dated on Tinder.
That freaks me out. Like, are you kidding me? Like some stranger from the internet coming over to my house. I'm sorry. I have seen this.
Exactly. Like, remember that movie Dirty John? You can't, I mean, it's crazy.
No freaking way I would let somebody from the internet anywhere near my house.
I don't date anybody on it. I haven't done like what we're doing now, like this Instagram thing and all that. This is my first year since pandemic. I did it. I never had a Twitter account. I never had an Instagram account. I've always met people like organically, like I said, like I named the places I named earlier, your Whole Foods, your Neiman's, sometimes on the street, or sometimes when I'm at a restaurant, whether it's a cheap restaurant, a sandwich place, if I see a woman sitting there and I think she's good looking or whatever, and she's wearing the right clothes, I'll pay for her bill. And she'll come over. And my best line is this: a woman's wallet should never see a light of day in a restaurant.
Oh my God.
And it only takes 10 minutes, right? If in 10 minutes time, either they're going to give you their number and you're going to go out, or they're going to tell you I'm married or I have a boyfriend. And guess what? Then you move on. It's not like going to a club.
I will say, people I've been, to lunch or whatever by myself, especially lately because nobody likes me. But people will pay for my lunch or send me a drink or something, and that's a guy, and I'm married. But it's like it's so kind that I just feel like even doing
it's very flattering.
It's just good. It's just good energy into the world. You just did something nice for somebody else, and it always comes back to you. I love people like that. That's
and you know what? And I've been with married women who are like a little bit older, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. And I've noticed one thing: a lot of the married women, and that it's just not just intimacy, right? It's what they lack is going to a Michelin star restaurant. It's not that their husbands can't take them. I mean, they're fucking loaded, right? But the thing is, when you're married, your husband's not going to want to take you to French Laundry and sit there 3.5 hours with you. I mean, that's just a given, right? A lot of times because it's a lot of my friends will say the same thing. Oh man, I got to take my wife out to this restaurant, man. It's like 2.5 hours. I could be at home watching the football game, right?
Well, and after you've been married a long time, and I certainly know this, and we, like I said, we travel all the time, so it kind of keeps it fresh. But we don't go out that much for that reason, and I like to cook, but I do kind of wish my husband would take.
It's like the restaurant experience, right? Like you sit there for like.
You want to have good conversation with somebody,
Or the tasting menu, you just want the experience. But men, like aside from myself, I don't know a lot of men that want to eat like the way I eat, like sit there for a 4-hour meal.
My husband hates tasting menus.
See, most men does. Most men do. They hate. I love tasting menus.
I took him to this place in Barcelona, like super famous. It's called Tickets. And
I know. Yeah. So Tickets has that great cheesecake.
Yeah, it's incredible. But my husband was so freaking bored, and he was like, he's like, I love you, and I realize that you spent $1,200 on this dinner, but this is the most boring experience of my life.
Yeah, but that's most men.
Here's the thing: is when I give my husband a gift, it's something that I really want. So
yeah, exactly. It's like when I buy. It's like my longest relationship, and I'm 43, is 6 months until the pandemic came, and I was on and off with this woman for like a year, probably 2 years, on and off, right? And we're taking a break now because she's probably tired of my ass. You know what I mean? I mean, she sees the little things.
Being on lockdown with anybody for as long as we have been, I mean, is a challenge to even the best relationships. I mean, both my husband and I working and running our businesses from home with 2 barking dogs and a guy fixing the pool today will make you want to put your head through a wall.
Yeah, of course, because no one can. I don't care if you're like I don't care if I'm spending like 24 hours a day with Cindy Crawford, okay, for the next 5 years. It's not going to work.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, so. What are your next ventures?
What are my next ventures? Well, let me tell you what. I was offered a deal to sell my life rights to make a movie.
Awesome.
I will be doing a documentary project. I can't say the name of the network. Obviously, my book's going to come out next year. Continue to run my PR business. I'm doing mental health advocacy, and I'm hoping to do some public speaking here pretty soon when it's.
I have mental health when it comes to shopping and looking at people's clothes. I really do. Like I can't, you know.
That's the thing that I miss so much. Like I honestly haven't been shopping that much during the pandemic because
there's nowhere to wear. You can't wear anything anywhere.
I have things in my closet that are like I haven't even worn from the things that I bought last year, resort, that I was supposed to wear this summer on vacation. We didn't go anywhere. So
there's nowhere to go. You know, and the place that let you in obviously doesn't care about the COVID count. You're gonna catch it, right? And the places that don't let you in is the places you really want to go to, right? So, exactly. You know, and it's a hard thing. And I think that, you know, so I started this podcast this year, and by far you're one of my best interviews. And I did. Remember William Hung?
Of course,
so I interviewed him.
Is he a good interview?
Okay. He wouldn't post my shit because he said I'm too much like a Howard Stern to him, and he got all bent out of shape. But you watch it, you can help me post it. How about that?
Oh my God, I'll totally share it. Yeah, you know what? My bottom line is, let's make America fun again. Let's make America
definitely make America fun again,
and make America happy again, and just stop being so angry all the time. Jesus Christ, people, like
everybody's fucking mad. And what are they mad about? I don't get it, right? I mean, you got food on the table. You got. You just gotta have a fun and fabulous life, and the people that don't, make the best of your life.
Make the best of it, and you know what? That's the thing too. This is what I tell people constantly. Think good things and want good things for yourself and for other people, and good things will start happening to you. I swear to God, it works. And
good things for people who wait. You know what? Great things for people who wait longer. Just keep on waiting. Sometimes it'll just come.
I think people get so stewed in their own misery and their own victimhood.
And you know what? And everybody's all, they got all this pent up energy about racism, this and that. Instead of focusing on the negative, you focus on the positive, right? I mean, that's what you do. You make everything fun.
It's like, and they started, people were all mad at me because I was saying we should, if you want to cancel something, let's cancel racism. And I got flack from people like, no, we need to talk about this more. And it's like, don't you think talking about racism more is making it more prevalent to people because you're making them so uncomfortable? I think
it's true.
It's a psychological thing. And I've personally, I've seen it in my own community. Like people are terrified, and they're just like, I don't want any part of it. And it's like, why don't we just focus the energy on
racism is going to divide the country even more. When you talk about racism, it will divide the country even more because we've already evolved from racism. And I'll give you a perfect example of a story, right? When I was younger, I'm obviously a lot, older than you. So back in the days, I remember I was being in middle school, right? And, back then you have a lot of Eddie Murphy Raw, and you got all these people just talking this crazy shit, which is funny because to them it's comedic because it is, right? When you had all the
comics in the world were completely politically incorrect.
Exactly, right? So
they couldn't exist now. They could not. They would. Eddie Murphy would not have a career now.
Yeah, and Eddie, you know what? If Eddie Murphy didn't have that many kids, he wouldn't have apologized. He would have just said, "Fuck it," like Kevin Hart and Chris Rock. But he has so many kids, he has to apologize so he can get more deals, right? And to me, the story goes, I was in middle school, and me and this Arab kid had an argument. I called him a camel jockey, right? And then the teacher drags me to the room and says, look, he is that, but you can't say this out loud, right? And I'm like, okay. So
he said that?
He said that, right? But if you fast forward now, if I said that now and I was a child, I would be suspended, be thrown out of school. My mom would be called into a PTA meeting. But back then, so my point is the racism has already evolved for the better because now you can't say that kind of stuff in school. But back then you could. So how much more sensitive are we going to get? The more sensitive we get, the more divided this country will be. First of all, I think at some point people have to realize we are all one human family. It does not matter what the color of your skin is. It matters what your contribution is to the world.
Period.
And I agree with you. It's all about the contribution to the world. And a lot of people that can't contribute, they're the ones who are crying racism. They're the ones who's crying classism, because if they can't get anywhere, they think this is gonna catapult them to the next level because they want to cry cancel culture.
I just don't believe, you know, these people. I mean, and you know, the level of victim mentality. I mean, you can improve your life today, right now. There are free public libraries in every city in this country.
In every neighborhood, especially in San Francisco.
All over the world. And all you have to do to start improving yourself and bettering your life
is read.
Go get a book, learn a skill, learn something. Stop spending all of your time bitching, excuse my language, on the internet, and go pick up a book and improve your status in life. You don't need free college for that. I mean, I guess it'd be great, sure. But you can empower yourself by picking up a book. That's it.
But that community, especially the lower income community, whether it's the African Americans, whether it's the Southeast Asian, because that's a big low income community for Southeast Asian. I mean, you know, and that those communities, they want to be the next rap star. They don't want to read a book. But you know what? Not everybody can be the next Jay-Z or 50 Cent. But they have these hopeless dreams where half of them aren't coming true. But they also don't believe in picking up a book. And then they have kids at such a young age, which even holds them back even further.
Well, I think that comes, you know, again, so much on the family structure and, you know, holding families together and raising kids to value education from the beginning. I think that, you know, that could solve a lot of the crisis.
And you're right about that, because the low income community, the worst day is probably like Father's Day or Mother's Day, because they're always missing one or the other.
Well, I mean, I think it just focusing on the family and focusing on education is so important. And even if you're an adult and, you know, you have come from an upbringing that, you know, your life didn't pan out, you know, well, you know, you can always improve your status. And I have to run because I've got another interview. This was so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
It was so nice meeting you. And I would love to visit.
We'll do this again next time, okay? Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.